And we are back, and we just finished watching 2001's Donnie Darko, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 53 minutes. This is currently streaming on the new Max and comes to us from writer-director Richard Kelly. This is the story of Donnie Darko, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, a young man with, I guess, emotional issues, or...
He appears to be schizophrenic.
Yes, that's what the therapist said, right?
He's hallucinating. He's seeing imaginary people. He also has like a sleepwalking issue.
Yes, and comes to interact with this crazed rabbit named Frank, who tells him to do things.
Yeah.
We actually saw this in the theater and enjoyed it.
Way back when.
Way back when. Pre-children, pre-marriage with Mayor Koch.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it then. I think I've seen it on cable every once in a while, but I've never sat through it from start to finish again. I think like you, I remembered bits and pieces of it, but not the whole story. Mm-hmm. It's hella trippy.
It's a weird movie.
It is a weird movie, but it's still enjoyable.
Still enjoyable. I mean, the story definitely brings you along for a ride. There's definitely something mysterious going on. There's something more than just one character's mental issues.
Yeah.
There's time travel involved.
There's social
theories
comedy.
on time travel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of social commentary.
I guess science, wormholes, and
science with wormholes, whatnot.
Travel, or discussion about it.
Discussion about it. I still am a bit baffled by the end.
Well, I feel like he went back in time to erase everything, so that.
Yeah, I get that part, but I honestly don't understand how he got back in time.
He must have understood the mechanics of
right, but the way they were describing it was you need some sort of metal thing, ship going faster than the speed of light,
which his mother and his sister were in.
Well, no, it was just the jet engine. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the whole plane. It was just the jet engine.
But the jet engine was going through that vortex.
Right, but the mother and the sister weren't inside the jet engine.
No,
they were on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
The jet engine goes back in time.
Right.
How did Donnie go back in time? Because you just see him sort of standing on a hilltop,
right,
looking in the distance at this sort of like tornado-looking thing, and then suddenly he's in his bedroom,
or he's in his bedroom, and he's
in his bedroom laughing.
Because I think don't you see the calendar and it says October 2nd? So
no. I understand that he is back. Him laughing in his bedroom is him back on the day that happened. Mm-hmm. But how did he get back there? So
my theory or my interpretation was either he dreamt all that stuff that was going to happen. So all of that stuff maybe happened on a different timeline, or he somehow figured out a way to come back to that point in time, and in doing so realizes that he's now going to undo the next, 28 days. So, and that's why you see him laughing at the end and just kind of turning over and like laying down and going to sleep, because he knows what's going to happen. He knows that the jet engine is going to come through, because in the original, I guess, timeline, his sleepwalking saves him from being crushed to death.
Yeah, he wakes up on the side of the road with his bike.
Or was that the one when he was on the golf course? I don't remember. It was either one of those. So he had been sleepwalking, and that's the thing that saved him. In this scenario, he's gone through these days, but he's come to kind of figure out like the wormholes. Like he's asking the teacher like all these questions, so he has some kind of basic understanding, and I'm assuming he read the book and he left Roberta a letter, which may or may not reach her, or she may understand. I mean, she'll go. It seems like maybe she knew, because it was like she was always going to the mailbox, waiting for something. And then
So wait, are you saying that the original timeline was Donnie not following the thing that comes out of his chest, and that's why things were different, and that at the end he decides that he would have followed the timeline.
I guess. I mean, again, to me, it's two different things. It could be that he dreamt the whole thing, and then he woke up and just realized the irony of it and just laughed and then just accepted his fate and went to sleep and got killed. But in the process, he saves
the
girl, right, Gretchen. So you have that scenario, right, where this all could have been a dream. Or you have the scenario where he actually does come back in time. Because it seems so coincidental that the thing that was leading him was that guy in the suit who ultimately kills Gretchen. So this character, Frank, comes from somewhere.
He's the guy that he murders at the end.
Right. But you don't know that 28 days before.
Right.
28 days before, he's just some imaginary friend that Donnie has whipped up who's telling him to go on these crazy crime escapades where he's vandalizing the school and he's setting fire to this house, but ultimately uncovering this crazy thing. So everything to me is intentional.
No, I agree that everything is intentional, because I guess he sort of knows what's going to happen, but maybe he's not aware of the fact that he knows that it's going to happen. Maybe that's what's causing the schizophrenia.
Or maybe he's like this conduit who's like, because he is open to these like messages and messengers, maybe they think it's schizophrenia, but maybe it's not. Maybe he's just more aware than other people.
No, what I was thinking was he's not schizophrenic. He's just seeing through time.
Right.
Because there is that one bit where he sort of like looks inside one of those streams.
Right.
And then suddenly his girlfriend is next to him.
Right.
So I don't know if he did something there or what it was. I mean, if it was something that it was coming towards him, mm-hmm. and then he looked inside of it. So it wasn't him.
No.
That was causing that thing to form.
Maybe that was her portal or whatever, her wormhole. But it seemed like he was kind of in tune, because he talks to the little chubby girl and he's like, I want you to know that everything's going to be okay. And she like runs away.
Yeah. It's very weird.
Yeah. It's funny because originally the first time I saw it, and it's funny because I don't think I ever discussed this movie with you after we saw it.
No.
I don't think we ever discussed movies after we saw them. I mean, other than I hated that or that was good. Yeah, we didn't, and we promptly would eat, I think. That was, that was like movie, food. But I think the first time I saw this, my interpretation was that he went back in time and he sort of erased his own existence. But
yeah, that's sort of like what you think, but the problem with that is that based upon what they're describing as what you need, the ingredients of time travel, he didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So how did he get back to the bedroom? Unless, like you said, that this
was a dream
was just sort of like an alternate timeline that we were in,
mm-hmm.
that he was seeing, and so it wasn't really like a schizophrenic delusion. It was just he was seeing what would have happened if he had not, because they were describing it as the path that God laid out for you.
Right.
If he had taken the path that God didn't lay out for him,
mm-hmm.
and that's what the length of this movie was.
Right.
And then he decided, like at the end, after seeing this path, I'm just going to stick with the original path and just stay in my bed.
Yeah.
And boom, right. the jet engine falls on him.
Right. I mean, it's open to interpretation. I think the writer / director, I think that's his whole intent. I'm presenting you with a story and you can do what you want with it.
Mm-hmm.
It still works. It's as ambiguous and as weird as it is at times. It still really, really works, and it still really resonates. I think that he captures the whole aimless young man internally hurting voice really well. I think Jake Gyllenhaal does a bang up job here. He is to me anyway. I feel like he's an underrated actor. I know that he's popular and I know that he's famous, but I feel like when we have a discussion of really good actors, I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal is the first name out of people's mouths.
No, I agree. He's definitely way better than
I think people give him credit for. Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting because he's got an interesting range. I think he can do like the serious stuff and he can do goofy things, and I think that he excels at both.
Yeah. And
he's definitely, I mean, he's, I think, now in his 40s, so he's still a young-ish actor. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to see his filmography. And this is one of his earlier, like, lead roles, if not the lead role that kind of put him on the map.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's nice to go back and see kind of his origin story as an actor and then just see the progression from there. Any other thoughts?
Not really. I mean, if you're into weird, trippy, sort of philosophical type movies,
set in the 80s with a great 80s soundtrack.
Decent 80s soundtrack. This will probably hit all your buttons. But yeah, it is kind of weird. You may find yourself confused at various points.
Yes. And I think that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Let's talk about Patrick Swayze's character.
Oh.
Jim Cunningham.
Yeah, just giving all the platitudes about life. Oh, believe in yourself, whatever.
Love, hate.
Love. Yeah, there's only love and there's only fear.
Fear.
Love
fear
and fear.
Love and fear, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much playing the self-help
trope
guru sort of thing that was kind of really popular back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I they're probably still around, those people like that. You don't really see them that much, maybe because we don't watch regular television, so we're not seeing the late night TV commercials.
Well, I think now you have so much content, so much. Yeah, so it's easy to get lost in
that you don't really see.
But I agree
guys
with
like the guy, that gigantic guy with the teeth, and
all the other ones,
all the like Tom Vo and all.
I think
most of those guys have like been proven to be frauds.
It's funny because so another interesting thing about this movie as I was watching it this second time, because I want to say this is only my second time viewing it, because this is really the only time that I've sat through it from start to finish, was these kind of stereotypes. The woman Kitty, who's the sort of like, what is she, a gym teacher /
the one who's like the head of Sparkle Motion?
Yeah, her.
She always plays that part.
She does, but it's funny because that is a stereotype, and it's really well done, and it's really well fleshed out. You really don't like her, and you really just, I found her hypocrisy just irritating. So she does a great job. I think the Jim Cunningham character is also a stereotype of not all self-help people, but just there are charlatans within that community. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
they try to capitalize.
I would go so far as say most of them.
Yeah, they try to capitalize on, I guess, the fear and love in people and use that to their advantage. I mean, he's living in this fabulous house.
Yeah, well,
he has made a fortune.
That's how they make their money. You're at a low point in your life, you're desperate, and suddenly here comes some guy on TV who's just like, I've got the answer to everything. Look at me. When I started, I was 5'3" and 400 pounds. Now I'm 7'6" and chiseled muscle.
Yeah. So
all
that's
from positive belief.
Yeah. So that's like another stereotype, right? You have like the edgy teacher in this little town who's like
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore's character who's teaching kind of subversive things, and so it was just interesting to watch it from this vantage point. Again, I think absolutely I loved it the first time that we saw it. I liked it a lot now. I don't think I was as enamored of it as I was the first time around.
Yeah, because it was more new.
Yes.
Like that sort of like weird cinema.
Yes. Very.
It was, this is gonna leave you thinking.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Yes.
We've experienced a lot of that. And
since then, and I
since
think
then.
also just I think this kind of film plays best for lack of a better word, a virgin audience, because it's like if you haven't seen it, obviously it's more impactful.
Yeah.
Whereas we've seen it, we know what it is, and we've since lived, my God, 20 years.
More than 20 years.
More than 20 years. Oh, God, this movie? Jesus.
Yeah.
It came out in 2001.
Yeah, this movie could vote.
That's hilarious.
Vote and go to a bar now.
Yes. I think I read a trivia thing on IMDb about how this was released a little after 9/11 and how they kind of downplay the
jet engine.
The jet engine stuff. Yeah.
I didn't even correlate the two. So
Yeah.
I guess back then that's what all everybody's thinking about. So
Yeah, there's a director's cut as well, which it's funny. I don't know how I feel about those things. Like I feel like the director's cut of A Sixth Sense ruins the film.
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
They give away everything, and like that stupid scene that they cut out. It should have stayed cut. They should have never put that back in. And like I think every time they show it on television now, that's the one that you see.
Yeah.
It's just upsetting.
Yeah, so I mean, there's I'm looking at the IMDb page. It's pretty long. I'm not even going to go into it, but there's apparently a director's cut with different things happening in here. I don't know how I feel about that, but whatever.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I don't care.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, or just go right into numbers?
Nah, I think it's like I said. If you like sort of like trippy, philosophical type movies, especially dealing with time travel and free will versus fate, I guess, check this out.
Yeah,
you might like it. It's like I said, and it's also it's kind of creepy. Frank is a disturbing image.
Yes, for sure.
Is not a normal bunny rabbit.
It's got a little drama. It's got a little sci-fi.
A little drama, a little sci-fi. Jake Gyllenhaal's very good. He's also can be quite creepy in this.
Yes.
He has that weird smile of his.
Yeah. And it felt like he was in a perpetual haze, but I'm assuming that's the medication.
Yeah. I think that they explain part of that is the medication. And that's when you have issues like that, the medication they give you is affecting your mind. So
right. And especially you're young.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah, he's a high schooler.
We've seen those documentaries where kids are just over medicated beyond belief, and like now they're like permanently twitching and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with that stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna say between 1 and 10, I would give this an 8. I think from where it starts to where it ends, it's quite the journey. It's very interesting. I think one of the beauties of this film is that it really does leave a lot of ambiguity, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. It definitely works here. I don't think it takes away from the story. I think that you come to it with your own personal experiences, and I think that you leave with your own personal experiences and maybe a lot of questions.
Yeah, like I don't know if it, like, for me, I don't think it was ambiguous. I just think that they left a lot of room for you to speculate as to what exactly is occurring, which, like, we just discussed. Like, how does it all work? Mm-hmm. How does it fit together? What do all the little pieces mean? I mean, I definitely feel like there was like a blueprint in this movie that they were following, mm-hmm. and finding out how all the pieces work together, that could leave, that could bring up a lot of discussion if, you're into that sort of thing. Otherwise, you could just go with the flow and watch it and just be like, what the hell did I just see?
And it's still, I feel like it still holds up, a movie that's over 20 years.
It still holds up. I think if 2001 me would have probably given this an 8. I think now me gives it a 7.
All right, fair enough. It's still a high score. It's still decent.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I think it still warrants viewing. I think mm-hmm. that if you like strange stories, this is for you. If you're into science fiction, if you like dark stories, this all plays into your wheelhouse. There's a bit of nostalgia with the music and stuff. And all the performers do a really good job, even the ones that aren't on the screen for very long. Jake Gyllenhaal in particular is really, really good in this. Mary McDonnell, the mom, Rose, she's great. I think it's inspired casting that they cast Jake's real life sister Maggie as his sister Elizabeth in this, which is hilarious. I feel like Jena Malone, who plays Gretchen, doesn't age. She looks the same here as she did many, many years later in Pride and Prejudice as Keira Knightley's sister. So it was nice to see Patrick Swayze, who's no longer with us, but also not a big integral part of the story, but puts on a good performance as this kind of weird self-help guru guy with kind of strange undertones, which come to light towards the end.
Very young Seth Rogen.
Very young Seth Rogen. Yes. I picked that up. I was like, is that Seth Rogen in the back there? Beth Grant, who plays Kitty, the woman you love to hate. The PTA mom you love to hate.
She is always in that same hairstyle, too.
Always. Yeah. She's like caught in a time warp in the 50s.
She has never aged.
No, she's another one.
I think she's playing the same role in recent movies, too. And she's just that annoying lady who she's either a religious zealot or some sort of prudish mom or what. Like,
really, really, really great. I think this was his directorial debut for Richard Kelly.
Yeah,
I don't think he did anything before that. It doesn't hurt to go see it. And if you have Max, I think this will be a good use of 2 hours.
Yeah, for now, it's on Max.
So catch it before it's gone. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, so that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.